That's East West Records in Orlando, Florida. I was just in there picking up some stuff, so let's check out what I got. How about that? Greetings, y'all. Welcome to another episode. Today we are going to be talking about my visit to East West Records in Orlando, Florida. They bill themselves as, I believe, I don't know, Florida or Orlando's oldest record store. And I thought that Rock and Roll Heaven claimed that title, but I may have been wrong. I do know that East West definitely bills themselves as that. Prices weren't too bad. You know, there was some, on the, low end, and some stuff around 20 bucks. There were a couple records that were around 20 bucks that I was interested in, but I decided not to pick them up because I just kind of try not to buy too much vinyl, and, you'll see how that turned out. But and then they had a bunch of these bins of like these CDs, used CDs for 94 cents. And then they had a huge wall of just other used CDs. Prices on those kind of fluctuated. There were a couple that I thought maybe were priced a little bit high for a used CD and for what the title was, but still just an awesome selection. Just really, this place is just chock full of stuff. And they have like a reward program. You get like a point for every dollar you spend, and then after I think 50 points, you get a couple of bucks off your next purchase, something like that. So I signed up for it, even though I don't live down here, but I'll be here for another few months, so there's a possibility I'll make my way back up there, And so let's check out what I picked up on this day in the oldest record store in Florida or Orlando, East West Records. 2016, we get Lake Street Dive and their album Side Pony. Side Pony, even though there's a horse there, actually refers to, if you see the one band member, she's got like a ponytail on the side. They have like a whole, there you go. I could have just opened up the gatefold digipack and made it even easier to explain. But they have this whole like explanation here in the booklet of like what that means. It's not just like the name of this hairdo. They've got kind of like meanings for it, and got their lyrics there and everything. I first discovered them. Show you the CD here. They did one of the AV Club online does or they used to do like a bunch of cover songs by bands. They'd have the bands, here's the list of songs, and the band would pick what song they want to cover, and then they'd cover it. So a few years ago, I don't remember when, it might have been like close to 10 years at this point maybe, but I saw them on there. They were doing a cover of Take On Me by a-ha, and it was pretty good. The singer has a very interesting, very soulful voice. The band, I think, is based out of Brooklyn. But they are kind of a little difficult to kind of describe. Like, it's kind of got a little bit of soul to it, alternative rock certainly, kind of maybe a little jazz influence. But pretty interesting band. I like them quite a bit. This is the only CD of theirs that I own, but I have a couple other tracks here and there that I've picked up along the way by them. On this record, some of the tracks that I like are God Awful Things, Close to Me, Spectacular Failure, Hell Yeah, and the title track, Side Pony. Do I need to go into what a side pony is again? Anyways, cool band, check them out. 1986, we get the Bodines and their album Love and Hope and Sex and Dreams. It's what everything is all about. Bodines, alternative rock. They kind of got like a little bit of Americana or roots or country kind of vibe to them on certain songs. But really good band. I picked up a handful of their CDs in the last couple of years, and it seems like I always find their CDs in the used section in like the dollar bins and stuff like that. And like I mentioned, they had like the bins there for 94 cents. That's where I found this. And I kind of, the CDs I have by the Bodines, I've been a little underwhelmed by. There's a couple of songs that I like, but none of them have really like blown me away. And I kind of was on the train of thought of like, maybe it's time to stop like digging up these Bodine CDs, thinking that maybe the next one's going to be the awesome record that I've been kind of expecting to find by this band. And I saw it there, but again, it's like 94 cents. Like, I just was like, let me buy it. And it's from the 80s. I think my train of thought was like, if there's, like, I'd prefer to kind of dig up something by them from the 80s as opposed to the 90s, take a chance on something from the 80s by them instead of the 90s. So here we is. And it's pretty good. I don't know if, it might be my favorite out of all the Bodines records I have. The tracks on here that I really like were She's a Runaway, Fade Away, Still the Night, and Angels was another one that I liked. And the other thing I didn't mention, I mentioned they kind of had this kind of alternative, maybe a little bit of a country Americana kind of roots sound to them, but there's also a handful of songs on here that definitely have this kind of like heavy, kind of like 50s rock and roll kind of, vibe to them as well. So yeah, check it out. Not a bad record. From 1980, we get Human Sexual Response and their album Fig 14 or Figure 14. This is a promo copy with this sticker on here, Passport Records, not for sale, but I bought it. So again, I was saying I wasn't really looking for to pick up vinyl so much anymore these days. Found this, I think this was like $5. So this band is out of Boston, kind of like new wave punk. First discovered them from a CD I have, one of those DIY punk compilations that were put out a handful of years ago. I have the Boston one that they're on with their song Jackie Onassis, which I really liked. And I saw this when I was digging through the bins. I saw the cover and I recognized it. I knew what it was. And, it's a little beat up. The things cut out here, but it was like $5, so I just decided to take a shot on it. I don't know anything else by them. I just know that Jackie Onassis song, which is on here. But again, I just kind of thought it'd be interesting to check this out. The band, I think this came out in 1980. You got your lyrics there, and I think the band split up in '82. And here's the vinyl, just black, looks like it's in pretty good condition. But again, this is just kind of like a blind buy. I do know the one song, but I don't know anything else. And who knows, I don't even know if that song represents, their sound, so to say. So, I'm really looking forward to getting home. I'm going home soon for a little break in our job down here, so I'll get to go home and throw this on the record player and take a listen. 1980 also brings us the album by the Swingers and Counting the Beat. Similar to Human Sexual Response, this album came out in 1980 and the band broke up in 1982. New wave, I guess, band from Australia. I don't know anything about this band. It just kind of, looked like kind of like a new wave band that I'd never heard of. And again, the price was maybe, I think this one was $5 as well. And I just decided to, take a shot on this as well and give it a chance. We'll see what we got. They had one big song in Australia. I'll show you this real quick. They're on Backstreet Records. This one's in decent condition, but the record certainly looks like it's got a few little marks here and there, but nothing that looks like it'd affect the songs. But again, I know nothing by this band, but this song, the title track, Counting the Beat, apparently was like a big hit in Australia and New Zealand back in 1980 or 81. Really just kind of completely a blind purchase. And I do know, I saw this movie not too long ago, Australian film called Starstruck. Kind of it's not a terrible movie. It's kind of entertaining, but I think that it's kind of like about this girl who wants to be like a singer in a band and stuff. And there's a couple of like almost like musical kind of numbers in a way, like where she's performing, and I think they are her like backup band. I thought I read something like that they're her backup band, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, if you're familiar with the Swingers or Human Sexual Response or any of these, but especially these bands that I know nothing about, I'd love to hear your comments below of what you think of them or how you discovered them or what you think of this album. So let me know. From 1980, all this vinyl is from 1980. This is a band, New Adventures, which I believe they are a Dutch band. Again, similar to the others, I'm not familiar with this band at all. Never heard of them. Cover just kind of caught my eye. Looked like kind of a new wave band. I looked up online. It sounds like they're maybe like kind of rock, maybe a punk kind of band. But, I think somebody even described them almost like blues rock. I don't know, we'll see. There's Polydor. This album's from 1980. Just like the other two vinyl I just showed you are from 1980, but this band didn't break up in 1982 like the others, but they did break up eventually, but then reunited in 2002, and I think they're still out there performing and making music. But again, I know absolutely nothing by this band. I think the first track on this album, Come On, is a cover of a Chuck Berry song. So that'd kind of be interesting. I think that may have been like a kind of a hit for them. Maybe not here in the United States, maybe in Europe or something. But yeah, again, just kind of going into this one blind and hoping that it's pretty good. Hopefully, I'm leaving here in about a week to go on that little break home. So I'll get to know in about a week what I think of these records. I finally get to hear them. But that's my pickups from East West. Like I said, really, really cool shop. A lot of things like this that kind of surprised me to find stuff like that. It wasn't like going in there and finding like the same old. Like they had a pretty good selection of like albums that I don't usually see when I'm digging in stores. Like I said, I could have easily, there were 3 other records that I really kind of was tempting me, but they were all like $20. And I just decided to kind of hold off. But it was like, like even after I left and I went to get something to eat, I was like, should I go back and get it? But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I just didn't want to spend that much money. All this together, I think was maybe $20 or something like that that I spent there. So yeah, really good visit, cool store. If you're in Orlando, check them out by all means. Dude working there was really cool. Yeah, it's a great shop to check out. By all means, always got to support those local record stores, so by all means do that. And like I said, let me know if you're familiar with any of this stuff, especially the vinyl records here that I showed. Let me know some tracks that you dig or what you think of the records and stuff. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you some other time. Okay, see you later, bye.